one of the things I have found to be interesting, and that is the membership of the Crone and Gerald Corporation, and how I am constantly contacted by them, as they seem to be on their own little missions, like that of the do-gooder Christians. At first, they're friendly, as they email me and ask me questions. Then when I suggest to them to contact Rezar and Paul about what they're asking, then they proceed to write me about their guidelines and documented information they have become familiar with from the corporation. I simply try and explain to them about the new nowness and to check with the real guides, but they usually insist on what they have been told from Crone and Gerald. Here is where many have lost touch with the true reality and given themselves to the personalities that they follow. It is not for me to say what they should do, as they are the ones who have come to me. On another note, all the new students are from the corporation. Don't you find that true? I find a lot of students from the new corporation. They come and they ask for a negative teaching.
Yeah, they see us as a certain way. They just can't see beyond. They can't see beyond their own ideas of things. That's the thing. They've got their own self-convinced ideas about what Paul has presented, and they're kind of locked into a certain position, whereas life moves on, and they don't see that there's another position available here that's even greater than what they have. They seem to think that that's the last and end-all reality, what Paul presented. And unfortunately, they're stuck there, and they don't want to move out of that position. They think that their leader is the one to go to, and not Reb Zartars or Paul Twitchell. And what can you do? It's just that you can't force anybody to do anything. So you can just present this stuff, and they do what they want. But it's very hard for them to get past their own ideas. The word you leave off there?
Wonderful experience I had with Miss Ursula was where we were in the ocean together on our surfboards, and suddenly something began to rise out of the water in the distance. At first, there was a huge bubbling with the ocean surface, and as the turning and swashing back and forth of the water continued, there began to emerge a figure that rose from the water. After a few moments, as a giant structure continued to rise, I could see that it was a statue of Liberty. I began to laugh as I looked at her and said, "Miss Lou, did you make all of this happen?" Not at all, but it is something that we will discuss for your dream vision new book, she said. The giant figure finally emerged completely as it sat on its base, just like the original. Then Lou started to speak. As you can see, the Statue of Liberty is a woman, which depicts the negative current of the dualistic forces, just as Kali is depicted as to be the same as the influence. But to most humans who have not at all paid any attention to where they are in and where they're even at in this time and space, they have accepted the idea that this was a gift to them from others, when in fact it is a Trojan horse depicting the complete takeover and ruling factor to everyone who is in agreement. The certain few dark breaths know how psychologically attached most people are to their sentimental emotions, and those things that have certain relationships with their emotional attachments. So the Statue of Liberty was given, not so much so to the American people, but was erected by those in compliance with the World Conspiracy Network as part of their many takeovers on the earth. The idea of the statue is land of the free, but there's no such thing, but only as an implied idea, just as there is no such thing as a deficit that most politicians bring up while they are running for office. Here again is where the masses have taken for granted the idea that their political rulers are really on their side. When the U.S. Constitution was first established, and I will use this as a place in human history to take off from, there were those who were very sincere with what they were establishing, but over the course of a little more than 200 years, the world of today is a very distorted and along the lines of integrity and honorability that neither of these is worth mentioning with what is taking place with the rep system. Now, and even in less time, we have seen what has happened to Paul's presentation, which has magnified into what we term as the corporation. The Statue of Liberty is a purposely placed symbol of dark-sided rulership. Of course, try and tell the average patriotic psychologic American, and they will want to probably get rid of you right away. The dark breaths have laid out multitudes of evidence about what they've been doing for hundreds of years, because they are egotistical, gutless brats, and they want to be recognized, just like the Joker in Batman and Lex Luthor with Superman, for whom they are and what they're doing. They are very proud of the fact that they have fooled most people into accepting and agreeing to all their purposely placed demise. The 13 colonies never really broke away from the imperialistic kingdom of Europe. With so much information on the internet, it would be in the best interest of those who are wanting to find out the why, where, and who of it all. They should do a lot of research. The best source will always be a person's dream visions and the universal files. Now, as you have finished Nubook 5, The New Waves, The Rod of Power, it will give people a lot of information to start their own investigations into what is really taking place on planet Earth. The Earth is now a challenge like never before, and a lot of people will stay asleep as they will not accept what is really taking place with their elected officials, because they are like great movie stars to most voters, said TruReality. Everyone I have introduced Rebizar Tars to has experienced a great difference in their lives. And as they continue, it becomes even more evident. The real guides have greater success to the true reality than any savior or saint ever did. The old timers, the anointed saints of days gone by, profess the gods of fire and damnation. These are the lords of the lower heavens who want to always keep mankind in bondage. The illusion from the human mind is that the dark realm, the earth, and all the other planets is at the heart of life, and that out there somewhere, possibly way out there, are the gods the earth people are praying to. And then it is always the idea of belief. Even when a person belongs to a faith, they still question their faith. If we are all living here and experiencing what we are, then it always stands to reason. There is a reality behind all of this. I am only pointing this out because with all that has transpired on earth, when a person does not get their way, it does not mean that the true reality no longer exists, because it is always an isness. Like the sun shining, it always is. And so, because man has a brain and a mind that is so elementary, he cannot see the true reality, but only wants what he can get from something which is not real at all. With all the humans have gone through up to this very moment, people still look to religion and science to give them answers, which will never be true. And so it is. The real science and the real secrets of life will always elude those unaware humans who only listen to the pretty words of others. Do you have anything about that?
How about Tim? Are you able to speak tonight? We're just going to cut it short today, but do you have anything else? Any last words? It's just to end it, Lila. It's just that this may all sound like very controversial, the information that we're providing here, but if you just take some time and really look at it, look at what's going on behind the scenes if you can. Like it was mentioned, we have the internet these days. So there's a lot of information out there about what's really going on with the government and the environment and the alien factor and everything else. Life is huge, and there's a lot more that we're not being told. So it may seem controversial, but it's very real what we're presenting, and if you take the time, it's well worth it to look at this and sing the new you, watch your dream visions, and see if you can get some answers. And you will be provided answers if you're sincere. Okay.
Things are coming up all the time, not only politically, but chemtrails. That what are they doing is microwaves, all this going on. We have to look behind the scenes, see what's really going on, question it, why. And with those remarks, I think this evening we're going to say good night to you and happy dreams. And let's sing the new you tonight. You. Good Right.
Good night, Lila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks a lot. Good hearing you. We'll see you. New